Hey, it is Tuesday afternoon, and welcome to the Purple Portal. And I will tell you, Jeff, I'm going to probably need some water that's in the refrigerator. I forgot that piece. But anyway, hello, everybody, and this is Elaine Bartlett. And my golly, there's a lot to talk about because not only are you embraceable you, you are eclipsable you. And the eclipse seems to have the entire United States in a flutter, in a complete twit. However, I got news for you that is going to be so happy. Some of it may twit you out, some of it may not. Between all of the portals that I certainly feel opening, and from the few of you that I speak with during the week, I'm getting a sense that you're feeling it too. So we've got the annual portal for the galactic year. Now, I have to stop myself right there to talk about the galactic year before I talk about the eclipse. Sorry, I know you're all hanging by your fingernails to hear about the eclipse, but this is very important. I will be in person up in New Jersey, speaking not only about the galactic portals. I will be sharing something with you called the Galactic Chakra. And I am going to term that talk the road less traveled, the Galactic Chakra. I think, although I will reconfirm this with you next Tuesday, I believe that talk is going to be I know it's going to be in northern New Jersey. I know it's going to be in Saddle River, at my favorite stomping ground up there. And I believe it will be August 26th. That I will reconfirm. There will be other events up there that I will be sending email out as promptly as I possibly can get them out, which you all know, probably not my strong suit. I seem to do well by the seat of my pants, but I'll get the information out. Those of you who will want private consultations, I'm going to strongly encourage you to email me and let me know that. I anticipate being up there by August 25th, and I'm not sure exactly when I'm coming back, a couple of weeks. That's because this will be a driving expedition. So there we've got some of the galactic information, and the reason I'm so wanting to share it, when I left New Jersey seems like hundreds of years ago now, but when I left sort of in 2010 or so, I had been sharing information about galactic energy. Now it's just much more clear to me, much more easily sourced, and the information is invaluable as far as opening your system to other expansion modalities. And going through these gateways, it doesn't have to be frightening or nerve-wracking. It can be at your leisure, mostly, sometimes sort of, but sometimes you do get a little oomph and a push from the universe. But mostly, these gateways have to do with an expansion of consciousness. And so that's the first expansion. And then we've stepped, of course, into this seed cycle. Today, incidentally, for those of you who just know what I'm talking about galactically, it is actually, yet again, a seed day. So here's what happens with seeds. You've got to be crystal clear with what you want. You can't be mucking around with your thinking. You can't be indecisive. And there's no more of this nonsense announcing to yourself you don't know. You do know. It's encoded in you. So it's yet again, today's like a mini opening within these larger openings. And that, of course, brings us to the opening on Monday. Now, there's several reasons why this eclipse has gotten people's attention. First of all, of course, it's right across the United States, starting in Oregon and winding up in the Carolinas. But it's more than that. And I've, of course, done a fair amount of research. Some of you may have actually done a whole big amount of research. And if you have something to share on that as we go on, you know you are more than welcome and invited to phone in at 321-806-3159, 321-806-3159. And again, my email, which of course is on the announcement that I send out in the morning, but maybe some of you don't get that or whatever. purpleportal777 gmail.com. So it's the color purple, portal, and the number 7 3 times in a row. purpleportal777 at gmail.com. So the eclipse. First of all, eclipses in the old days really frightened people. They were very, very, again, when that sun went dark, it was a cause for fear. And so they equated it with kind of death and really bad stuff, death and wars and all that jazz. This particular eclipse, it's going to influence and touch some of you more than others, and that's true with any eclipse. For those of you who are familiar with your horoscope, if you have in your horoscope 28 degrees of something, any factor in your horoscope, that particular point is going to be triggered. So, for example, let's suppose you have Aries rising at 28 degrees. Even though Aries is not exactly a trigger point for this, the 28 degree portion of your horoscope will allow it to become a trigger point. And the trigger point is neither good nor bad. It simply is. So this particular eclipse, it's considered a hot spot of Leo energy because the focus is going to fall in the sign of Leo. There's where the new moon is, and there's where the sun is. So the sun and the moon are conjunct. That's what a new moon actually means. The moon is conjunct with the sun sign that it's in. This has a particularly strong essence or flavor of Leo because the end of Leo in the star system, if you look at star maps, is where the bright blue star Regulus, Regulus, hangs out. So some of you may want to Google Regulus and just get a little more information. As I've always said, information is knowledge and knowledge is power. And Regulus, as I'm about to tell you, has been revered for millennia. It's a star that's considered that can actually be touched by the planets because it's the closest bright star to the ecliptic plane, the belt of all planets. So Regulus has what we call a revolutionary or a bold or fiery quality to it. It's considered a warrior star. It's an energy that is extremely headstrong and potentially righteous. Interestingly enough, those of you who are born under the sign of Leo, and some of you Virgos that think you're a Virgo because you're born maybe on the 21st of the month, or even a little bit more into this August, you're actually more the Leo energy. So you folks have a chance of being all fired up for better or worse. And the energy is extremely headstrong. and the righteousness will come through the planet Uranus, because these are going to be in relationship to one another. It's the easiest way to tell you. It's considered a positive relationship, nonetheless, depending on your own point where you've reached within yourself of your own evolution, whether this energy is going to be used constructively or destructively. As the first eclipse was in Leo and Aquarius. Now that's what was happening earlier, a couple of weeks ago. Okay, that was the first eclipse, and this second eclipse. So this is the lunar. The first one was the solar. Because it involves Uranus, it's going to give you a portal, a gateway, if you will, into thinking new thoughts, revolutionary thoughts, new ways of looking at your life. This could finally be the cycle where you've had it with your old physicality, especially if you've not been taking very good care of it. You might have fabulous, revolutionary thoughts about how to really finally dump the sugar, dump the pink packets, dump the junk food. It's that powerful. It's so darn fiery that you're going to, if you haven't figured out emotionally how to harness that fire. Fire is a wonderful thing. We can't live without it. But if it's haywire, you're going to get hurt. I'm going to give you a very simple example of fire run amok. There's someone in my infrastructure of family beings. I'm not particularly connected with this person at this time, but she was born with a fiery disposition. She's carried this fiery disposition right on up until her mid-60s. It's unharnessed. It runs amok at the drop of a pin. And so I had to and see, the reason I'm bringing this up is because the effect of this eclipse, it's already happening. So yesterday the report went something like this. This fiery individual was with a couple of little people under the age of 3. And there was a lot of tension and contention about whose will would be done. And of course, the 3-year-old, as most 3-year-olds, if they're healthy, this little one thought her will would win out. No, the 60-something-year-old decided her will would win out. And it was like a firing squad. So the other ones that were even smaller than the 3-year-old is in the care of someone else. An interloper comes into the little situation wanting to use a shower head where they were all showering off these little ones. The dear interloper, probably in her early 70s, actually could not figure out how to turn the shower. It was one of these probably very new age tricky ones. The very fiery one screams at this lady, "Don't you see? Don't ask this question. Don't you see we're busy? Like, get out of here." I'm like, oh, ouch. And that's the misuse of the fire. Whereas the friend who was also helping with these little beings has learned to harness the fire and took easily control of the situation,